Alright guys, so now I'm going to show you how to use the step sequencer itself. So let's go back to our drums section and let's start putting a beat down. Now this step sequencer works pretty much the same as other step sequencers that you'll find on certain drum plugins or even drum hardware, synthesized drum hardware. So that means that each little button thing here is a step. And right now I have the time signature set so that every 4 steps is a beat. And that's the default time signature, and it's the time signature you'll find in probably 99% of electronic dance music. So the way you can add in different steps for the different instruments is really simple. You just click, and you can click and drag to add a few of them in a row. But yeah, all you have to do is click. And if you want to delete some, you can right click. And there are a few different options you have for automatically adding in steps. So you can right click on something, and you can do fill each 2 steps, fill each 4 steps, or fill each 8 steps, which will do exactly what it says. Yeah. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill all of the steps on the hat to show you the swing functionality. So if you listen right now, you can hear it's playing back very quantized. It's a very strict, straightforward sound. But if you adjust the swing knob, what it does is it adds some swing character to how the step sequencer plays back. So instead of being it'll be which you can hear if I play right now. And if you have more swing, it'll have that effect to a higher extent, and less swing, it'll be lower. So and for this song, I don't want any swing. Okay. And you can see next to the channel, you have a couple different knobs and a button. So this button will mute a track, or it will, if you right click, it will solo it. If you right click and select solo again, it will bring back everything. Okay, so now I'm gonna come back to the channel padding and the channel volume. So the channel padding basically just, if you have it to the right, it'll pan the sound to the right. So you'll hear it more in the right speaker than you will in the left speaker. And if you pan it left, it does the opposite. So I'll let you hear that. And then the volume just changes how loud or soft the sound is. Usually I don't use these controls too much because you can do a lot of that in the mixer, which again I will be covering later in this tutorial. But it can be good if you have a sound that's way too loud or way too quiet for just a quick adjustment. And if you right click the different knobs in FL Studio, you do have a few different options. And one is reset. So if you edit something and you want to reset it, you can just right click the knob and then reset. The other ones are a bit more advanced, and I'll be covering some of them later in this video. Now, since what I'm making is a trap song, I'm going to make a pretty, I want a longer pattern than this. And so if you want to have more or less beats in your pattern, what you do is come over here and you can click and drag, or you can scroll up and down on your mouse wheel. So I want it to have 16. Now, if you go beyond 16, it won't affect the step sequencer anymore, but it will have an effect in the piano roll. And I'll be covering the piano roll later on. So, yeah. Unfortunately, you can only have up to 16 beats in one pattern. Okay, so let's start getting a pattern down. And like I said before, I'm not going to be going too much about why I'm doing things musically, because this is just a crash course to help you understand the program. But if you want a crash course about the musical aspects, I am going to make a composition crash course in the future. So definitely subscribe if you have not subscribed already and you want to see that. And again, I'm just clicking to put in these steps, and I can right click to remove them. And if you want to quickly get rid of a full pattern, you could right click and drag across the whole thing, or you can just right click on the channel itself and do edit cut. And you can also go and copy paste if you want to duplicate a channel, like duplicate a pattern on a different channel. And you can also shift left and shift right, which you can also do by holding shift and clicking the left and right arrow keys. And that can be useful in some cases. Okay, so I have a basic drum beat down, and I want to call this pattern drum beat, or something like that. So the way you can do this is you can come up here to where it says pattern 1, and you can click on it and rename /color. You can also come up here to this pattern selector, right click to rename and color. And if you click here and if you right click here, you'll have a few other options as well. But if you just want to quickly rename and recolor it, it's the same as the channels. You can middle click, and I'll call it drum beat, and I'll keep it blue because drums are blue apparently. And now if you want to open up a new channel, or sorry, not a new channel, a new pattern, there are a few different ways to do that as well. You can come up here and click and drag, or scroll up and down. You can hover over the name here and scroll up and down. Or you can right click, which does the same thing as normal clicking down here. And you can do find first empty or find next empty. And the difference between finding the first empty and finding the next empty is the first empty will start from the beginning, it'll start from pattern 1, and look for the first empty pattern. Finding the next empty pattern it'll start from the current pattern and look down to find the next empty pattern. But since we're on pattern 1, they're going to do the same exact thing. And there is another way to add some more patterns to your song. Let's say you have a bunch of patterns and you want to add another pattern right after the drum beat. You can come down here and you can insert one, and it'll insert a new pattern before the current pattern. So basically this will insert a new pattern 1 and push the drum beat down to pattern 2. And you can see you can type in a name and recolor this pattern here, which I'll do it a pinkish color, and I'll call it melody. Now I don't want the melody pattern to be pattern 1. So I could have selected to find the next empty and done that with my melody. But I can also move the patterns around by clicking either of these options or using the shortcuts here. So I move this down and now the melody is pattern 2 and the drum beat is still pattern 1. Okay, so before I continue with the melody, there is one more thing that I want to cover about the step sequencer. And that is these two options right here next to the swing. And what you have is a keyboard editor and a graph editor. What they allow you to do is change different parameters of the individual steps. So the keyboard editor will let you change the pitch, basically. And so I want these snares that are separate from the clap to be at a bit of a higher pitch. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to change each of the independent snares to have a higher pitch. And now you can hear when I play it back. And there is another way to change the pitch, which is using the graph editor. And it has a few different options. And fine pitch, that's how you would change the pitch if you didn't want to use the key values per se. If you wanted maybe to have a smooth automation of the pitch as the pattern went on, or anything like that. And so each of these do different things. If you want to know more about that, I'd say check out the manual, because really all I'm going to be doing in this one is the pan. But the velocity just changes the volume of each note. But I want the rims to be panned kind of fairly far to the right there and then to the left down here. And if you don't know which way is which, check out the tips bar once again, because it'll tell you this is 64% right, and these are, you can make them exactly the same if you want. 64% left. And now I accidentally did another pan. It won't matter because there's no step there. But if you want to undo what you've done, you can hold down the Alt key and then click. And so I'll show you that in the velocity. Let me do it on the hats to show you a bit more how it works. So you can hear as these steps went through here, they got softer and then louder. But I don't want this to happen, so just Alt, click, and drag. holding Alt, clicking and dragging. So yeah, I believe the drum beat is done, and I may edit it some more later on. Actually, I will edit it a little bit now. Thanks for watching my tutorial video. I hope you found it to be helpful. If you want to learn more, be sure to subscribe to my channel so you can watch new videos as soon as I upload them. After that, check out the Beat School website. I'll have the link in the description. All my tutorials are organized on the site so that you can easily find what you need by browsing through the different categories. There are also a ton of awesome resources to help you in every aspect of music production. And if you want to help support me, you can buy any of my sample packs, preset packs, or project files for only $5 or less. This gets you some great sounds for a great price and allows me to spend more time making these tutorials and working on the website. Thanks again for watching my video, and have a great day.